Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason and I am at my 7th Madonna of the Trail statue in the United States that I've visited. And this one is in West Virginia. To be exact, it's in Wheeling, West Virginia, just kind of near the east end of town. There are some markers here. I'll talk about the statue and the basic trivia that I mention in every episode. So let's get started. So this is one of 5 Madonna of the Trail statues that was placed on the historic National Road, and this is technically called the Historic Old Trails Road, which combines that, Route 66, along with the Santa Fe Trail. And there are 12 Madonna of the Trail statues in the United States. Again, I have visited 7. I'll go over that in a second. But let's talk about a marker right here, the National Pike. The National Pike, called the Old Cumberland Road, was started in 1811 and used to Wheeling in 1817 and by mail coaches from Washington by 1818. Most of it followed the Nemoncolin Path and Braddock's Road from Cumberland, Maryland. Put up here in 1965. Says the same thing on the back. And this is on a nice pullout, even though I don't know why it says no parking, so I don't know what the whole point of this road is, I guess. I don't know. Behind the statue is Wheeling Park. So let's take a look. The statue before you was created as a tribute to the pioneer women who braved the uncertainties of the Great Journey West. The Madonna memorials were a project of the Daughters of the American Revolution and were dedicated between 1928 and 1929. The monument was conceived by Arlene B. Moss of St. Louis, Missouri, and sculpted by August Leimbach. Earlier plans included the idea of placing over 3,000 mile markers along the entire length of US 40. By 1924, the plans had evolved to that of placing a single monument in each of the states through which the road passed. A total of 12 statues were placed along the road of the National Road. At that time, the route known as the National Road was a transcontinental highway, sometimes called the National Old Trails Road. It included the original section of Federal Highway, identified today as a historic National Road, and the later extensions encompassed of what we now know today as US 40. This monument was dedicated on July 7th, 1928, the first being in Ohio just 3 days earlier, on July 4th. And then the work of creating and placing the statues was done in cooperation with the National Trails Road Association and its president, later the United States President Harry S. Truman, provided for the cost of erecting the monuments. So here's a rarity. Here's something I haven't seen yet. It's a picture of August Leimbach finishing a wax model of the Madonna of the Trail. This was in 1927. And in the picture is Mrs. John Trigg Moss of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Alright, so starting from the east, there's one in Bethesda, Maryland, which is not too far from Washington, D.C. Beallsville, Pennsylvania, which I'll be probably going to tomorrow. I'm here in Wheeling, West Virginia. Now Springfield, Ohio. I did that before a few months ago, as well as Richmond, Indiana. I've been to Vandalia, Lexington. Still got to go to Council Grove and Lamar, Colorado, both of which are on the Santa Fe Trail. Albuquerque, New Mexico. I did that one. Springerville, Arizona. I have not been to that one. And Upland, California. I have been doing that one. And so the statue looks to be in tip-top shape, as do all the others. Let's see what it says on the side here. By the authority of the United States government and chiefly through the statesmanship of Henry Clay, this road was made possible in 1806. And here's just a copyright 1928 by the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution. And on the right side, to the pioneer mothers of our mountain state whose courage, optimism, love, and sacrifice made possible the national highway that united the East and West. Very nice. All right, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Wheeling, West Virginia, in front of the Madonna of the Trail statue, the only one in the state of West Virginia. All right, sign off.